All right, happy Friday, everybody. It's March 18th. Welcome to the crypto market update by yours truly. My name is Amol. I am the head analyst and the owner of the Alpha Trades community. And today we're going to be talking a lot about crypto markets, where I think we are from a bullish or bearish perspective. And I'll talk a little bit about my positioning. But first, just to get the marketing out of the way, make sure y'all hit the thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Leave me a comment of your thoughts. And then, of course, go to thealphatrades.com website, hit the products page right here, and sign up for our Advantage membership if you want videos like this one 2 times a day, plus detailing my positioning in the market as well as potential trades. I put out a lot of trades in the altcoin and the Bitcoin space for my paid members. My paid members and I, we mostly spend time in our private Discord community right here. You can join our free Discord community with the link at the top right of the video. But if you want to join the private side where you get Bitcoin analysis like this almost multiple times a day in terms of updates, or altcoin analysis like these setups or these trade setups or analysis, join our paid membership. Okay. If you are looking for a technical analysis course where you're trying to figure out how exactly to really navigate the market and read the market, we have our course here at $20. I think the course might be cheaper. There might be a deal right now. You can join this course and you can get 7 days free in the private Discord Advantage community. So again, $97 per month. You get multiple videos a day, multiple pieces of analysis. And then, of course, we have our 5K challenge account. For those of you who are not familiar with the 5K challenge account, this is an account that I made for my Advantage members, my paying members. And every year we do a challenge. And so, for example, in 2021, we did a challenge starting the account with $5,000 at the beginning of the year, and then we ended the year securing the profit at $26,880, which was a 438% gain. A very fantastic, year that we had last year. And this year so far, we started the $5,000 account challenge. We had a tough year of January and February, but then slowly clawed our way back into profit. Currently, our account is up about 12% on the year. We still have about 9 months to go in this challenge. So once again, if you're willing to try the challenge out with us, join the Advantage subscription, okay? So with that out of the way, let's start talking about markets, right? The first thing that I wanted to start off with is just global data, data pertaining to Bitcoin and crypto. So what I generally look at is open interest, because open interest is nothing but the aggregate futures contracts that are in the entire market. Okay, that's what this little indicator, this little diagram is right here. As I've said before in my previous videos, I expect open interest to come down significantly from here at some point. Currently, open interest sits at about $30.3 billion. I'm expecting open interest to bottom out anywhere between 15 and 20 billion when all is said and done with the current bear market that we're in. And I still fundamentally believe that we are in the midst of a bear market. It might be a prolonged bear market, but there are going to be many, many opportunities to play the rallies on the way up, to be able to short in the middle, and to be able to basically ensure that you can take profits in both sides of the market, whether the market goes up or whether the market goes down. So open interest, in my opinion, is still relatively high, and volumes are overall still relatively low. They're slowly starting to come back, as you could see on the chart. There was a big lull in December and January. We saw sudden spikes in end of January, beginning of February, but that was due to a lot of sell volume. You can see overall volume has kind of trickled down over the last month or two, but I'm expecting a little bit of volume to pick up, partially because I am actually right now expecting BTC and most of the crypto market to head up probably by the end of March, maybe at some point in April. And I have positioned myself as such. So like I said, in our private private Advantage community, our Discord channel, where the paid members get access to all these channels, I've noted and mentioned the assets that I'm buying spot positions in, the assets that I'm long in. Okay. So if you guys do want to know how I'm trading the market, you can come join our private community. So my fundamental belief is that the market overall has had a significant amount of sell pressure absorbed in this area. And a lot of the bad news, a lot of the FOMC meeting that we had earlier this week, Russia, Ukraine news, I believe a lot of that has been factored into the price action now. And then there's a significant amount of fear, I believe, that the market is experiencing right now, which is another reason I believe that the market will probably head up. How high it's going to head up, it kind of depends. It depends on, the amount of buy pressure that's available in the market. If the market is still dodgy and it feels like you still need to be careful, it still might be in a range, but it still might head up, right? But if price is still very skeptical and wants to consolidate for a longer period of time, I believe the range high is still going to be around 45 to 46K. And the range low is probably capped around 37 to 38K right here. I think this is the big range that I believe we will experience probably in the next couple of weeks. If price exceeds my expectations and starts heading up higher because, maybe the conditions clear up, maybe there's some news out of Russia and Ukraine that the war is subsiding, maybe the Fed itself says, hey, it looks like inflation is coming down, we may not hike as many times this year, that could actually propel the market higher, quite possibly into 51, 52K, and maybe as high as 58 to 60K. But again, first we got to get through 46, which is the yearly open marker, then 52, which is a key SR level that twice capped us and sent us all the way down to 33K. So these two levels are particularly important right there and right there. And then we can start talking about 60K, okay? So that's, just in general Bitcoin, right? Now, my other belief is that in Bitcoin, there's a chart that I like to pay attention to on a monthly or 3-month basis. So let's go to monthly first, right? And I mentioned this before, and I keep it very simple on the monthly chart because the monthly is such a long time frame that it does not require you to be super savvy in technicals. It's a very sort of high time frame understanding of momentum and trend. Okay, that's really what monthly time frames should do for you. And what I've done here is let me get rid of realized volatility and let me just keep these two indicators right here. Okay. MACD is nothing but a sort of momentum tracker in recognizing when the momentum has clearly been in favor of the bull side versus the bear side. And it is dictated basically by a key set of moving averages, as well as a histogram down here, which gives an idea of the strength of the momentum, okay? And then this indicator down here, which is the Constance Brown index, it's basically a complicated RSI, but in my opinion, it's a better RSI. An RSI is just relative strength index. It gauges overbought and oversold levels, meaning when a market is aggressively overbought and quote unquote topping, or aggressively oversold and quote unquote bottoming, right? So in this particular situation, what I've done is there's two indicators that I found extremely helpful on the monthly time frame, and I'm going to outline those right now. In 2014 and 15 bear market, right? Bitcoin, first of all, topped in 2013, November 2013, as per this candle, and we went sideways and down for several months, almost actually 2 years. The bear signal for the market was outlined here on August 2014 by this MACD right here crossing the yellow line above the purple line. It's basically think of it as a bear cross, okay? So once that was marked, then you have this indicator down here, which, like I said, outlines oversold and overbought levels. This indicator did not show us that a bottom had been confirmed And bottoms in the CPIDX are typically anything at 40 or under 40, right? So at the 40-point level down here, as you can see, if we zoom in, that level was confirmed on January 2015. See that bottoming right there? January 2015, the market literally bottomed for BTC at this particular low at $152. Okay. And then what happened? We went sideways for another 6 to 8 months. And then we did not get a bull cross in the MACD. The bull cross in the MACD is outlined by the yellow line, once again, sweeping under the purple line, and they're both starting to trend up. That did not happen until about December 2015, which was almost 6 to 9 months after this bottom had been put in. Actually, almost a good 12 months. Okay. So as you could see, right, this was one indication of us recognizing that the market took several months, first of all, to give us an indication that we've bear crossed, that we've entered a bear market. Then another several months later, we realized that the bottom was in, but then we still went sideways for 6 to 9 months. And then we got a bull cross, giving us an idea that a new bull trend has started another 9 to 12 months later. So the entire process was almost 2 years long. And it's the same thing that happened here in 2018, okay? When the market gave us a top here in 2017, we did not get a bear cross until June 2018. Then we bottomed out, okay, from this particular level, almost 50% down, almost 6 to 9 months later, right? And that was confirmed as a bottom right here in January 2019, which was pretty close to the bottom. As you can see, there's maybe one candle before that bottom, but nonetheless pretty close, right? And then after that, we went several months up, and then we got the bull cross signal right here, basically at the top of this local area. But then we went sideways for almost 9 to 12 months, had this big sell-off here in BTC with the March COVID crash. And then we started to rip up for several months after that. So the point is, the reason why I'm mentioning that right now is in this particular bear market that we're in, and it is a bear market in my opinion, we've now experienced a bear MACD cross here in January 2022. So that's only 2 months ago. And we have not hit the bottom area of the oversold level yet. So we may have another several months below us. I don't know how low we're going to go. I don't know how long it's going to take. What I do know is that these two very simple indicators have very clearly outlined bottoms and bear trends the last 2 bear markets that we've had. They're pretty darn reliable, and it's a monthly time frame. This is not a 1-minute chart, right? This is not a 5-minute chart. This is a monthly time frame. So to flip these indicators from bullish to bearish or give you false signals is very difficult and very rare. So what I'm proposing here is that I think we have several more months of downside, and it's going to be a very choppy market. As I've said before, 2022 is going to be an extremely tough year to trade. If you join our community, in my opinion, I think it's going to be relatively easy to trade, but it's still going to be difficult because what you're going to have to do is have a control on your emotions, have a control on your FOMO and your greed and your panic, and then you will be able to somehow hopefully sustain the volatility of the market and hopefully make money in this market. All right. So now getting back to where we are in current day. So remember, as I said, I believe we're in the midst of the bear market, right? Now, in the middle of a bear market, remember, we don't just go straight down. Okay, bear markets are marked by a lot of sideways movement, a lot of up and down movement in monthly candles. And this is the crux of the conversation that I wanted to bring to you today, which I believe that near term, I believe that the market has presented a unique opportunity where there's a lot of fear, a lot of sell pressure that's occurred in the market. And I believe that right now it's time to temporarily head up. And for BTC, I believe that we're going to probably rally till the end of the quarter, which is the end of March, possibly into March and maybe even May. but I would be very skeptical. I don't think we'll have like a massive 2-month rally. I think it might be a little bit more muted. It might be like, I don't know, a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks of big rallies, but then eventually I expect prices to come back down. So for BTC, like I said, I spoke about those levels. Altcoins are a little bit different. I believe altcoins will also be very, very susceptible to the bear market. But there are certain altcoins that are still doing great things fundamentally, right? For example, RUNE is one of the assets that is helping bring Bitcoin onto its network so Bitcoin hodlers can earn yield, right? Earning yield for basically hodling Bitcoin is one of the greatest things that you could give as a reward for Bitcoin hodlers. So I believe RUNE as a network that's being able to do that is going to be extremely, extremely beneficial in the coming months ahead or in the coming crypto cycle ahead. But near term, I believe RUNE is coming very, very close to a top. I think in this particular area, like anywhere between $9 and $10, this is a very high concentrated traffic area. So whenever RUNE gets to here, I think that's probably going to be a local top for RUNE. And also just because I'm a big believer in big descending triangles that put in big consolidation, patterns like this. So for example, these descending triangles have more often than not in crypto broken down quite a bit. So as you can see, this is a descending triangle, right? A very large descending triangle. Descending triangles are basically marked by, a high. You have your first low at the bottom of the range, another lower high, multiple lows at the bottom of the range. And now we might be facing another lower high right here. And then this thing ultimately should start heading back down. So what could you do in this situation? Well, like I said, you can anticipate RUNE heading up higher. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe RUNE doesn't get to 10, maybe it gets to 15 or 20 or 25. And at that point, maybe we start a new bull market. I don't know. But I think the probabilities are high, in my opinion, that we're still in the middle of a large consolidation. I'm not quite sure that we're ready for a bull market just yet. I think a lot of fundamentals have to be cleared. A lot of excess and euphoria and possible, buy the dip crowd has to be cleared through the market, and that takes time. Okay, bear markets can sometimes be very, quick and fast capitulation, like big drops like that, or sometimes they could be large, drawn out patterns where it takes several months, sometimes several years, to basically make the entire market really capitulate. Okay, and I believe that's where we are right now. But the good thing about crypto right now is we've finally created, in my opinion, great products that have been utilized by people across the board within the crypto space. People actually use AVAX bridge and then the AVAX ecosystem. People actually use Matic as a L2 bridge for Ethereum. People use Solana for NFTs, for staking, for moving money back and forth, for farming, for all kinds of stuff, right? For building, other projects, building games on top of Solana. So point is that there are a few projects in here that I'm a fundamental, believer that they will continue to exist in the next cycle ahead. Obviously, do your own research, but that's my fundamental belief. And some of these assets are definitely worth paying attention to. Luna is one, Solana is one, RUNE is one, AVAX is one. I think REN is also one, right? So these are the assets you want to pay attention to. Atom is another one. Okay, so that's at the top of my list for assets that I want to be long in, or I want to, if I start seeing confirmation to the upside, I want to add to my position or get long in these assets. Okay, Curve Finance, by the way, is another really solid project. Okay, so there's a ton of these that, I believe that the crypto space is very much undervaluing right now. But overall, I still take all things in crypto with a grain of salt, just because we're still in the midst of a bear market. But, near term, if we're heading up higher, well, AVAX, in my opinion, could easily get up to $100 or so way the heck up here. I don't think that's an impossible feat. Solana, I think, could get back into this 120 140 area way the heck up here. And it would still be in a very deep downtrending market. I think Luna can also get all the way up to 125, 140 way the heck up here, and still at some point, right, start trending down if the bear market is, very persistent. Okay, so these are my thoughts. Near term, like I think some of these alts are definitely going to get pushed up, and like I said, I'm positioned as such. When we do start seeing the market start to come down, I think there's going to be a few metrics that we want to pay attention to. First of all, you want to see elevated, open interest rates and funding rates right at the highs. When you start seeing extremely high funding rates as the market is ripping up, that's going to be a key sign that a lot of people are longing and they're getting very, very aggressive in their long positioning. That's going to be one sign. And as I said, global open interest, when this starts to tick back up around 30, 34, $35 billion, I believe at that point, we should start heading down in open interest. When volumes start, peaking near term, I think that should be another signal that the market may be, near term topping. Okay. So these are the signals that I'll be paying attention to. I mean, on a daily basis, you could also look at the basics of MACD, whether it gives you a divergence, whether you start seeing volume divergence where, sometimes what happens is, let me give you a perfect example of volume divergence that I had pointed out not too long ago, okay? Here's a good sign of volume divergence on RUNE. All right, so if you look closely in RUNE on the daily chart, one thing you'll notice is that from basically this point onward, as you see price heading up, what you see is a clear decline in buy side volume, right? That's a clear indication that, near term, like RUNE has probably topped because you're not seeing as much buyers step up to the plate to keep driving up the price. So this could ultimately lead to an unwind until you see high sell volume start to capitulate. And that might happen at like this $6.40 level. That's a pretty key level. So pay attention to that. Like if RUNE comes into 640, I believe that's probably a pretty decent buying opportunity. And then you want to start seeing, buyers step up to the plate and start driving this thing back up towards $9 or $10, like I said. Okay, so that could be a decent opportunity. But like I said, this is, in my opinion, a volume divergence that you'll want to pay attention to in the next few weeks whenever the market starts topping. It is entirely possible, by the way, that I'm wrong and that from here we just start breaking down. And for that situation, I am prepared, right? I'm aware where my risk tolerance is in some of these alts. I'm not just going to blindly hang on to my positioning. I have my mental stops that I've noted in my mind. So, with that being said, overall, like I said, I believe the market has bottomed. I think we're going to head up for a little while. I don't know how long. And right now, I don't want to be short. If I were you, I would also reconsider being short. It might be, pretty increased risk and unnecessary risk really for you to want to be short right now and hope that the market breaks down after basically, multiple attempts at this 37, 38 low that have not been able to be cracked. So just things to consider. I'm not seeing anything special in the order books right here. Pretty good stacking right near the 40.7K level. What you ideally want to see is when you start seeing the ask side right here step up and get heavy, but then the bids are able to push through that, meaning the buyers are able to chew through the walls. That's really where you start seeing, price create a dent and head on up. Okay, when you start seeing basically people shorting or people wanting to sell or wanting to short on the way to the upside and price is able to chew through that, that's, in my opinion, a good sign. I think we're pretty close to that. I think we've pushed up a decent amount over the last several days. And I'm hoping that if the market does get stacked in terms of sell side, I'm hoping we can chew through that higher. On my Twitter feed, I thought this was really interesting. Vitalik is on the Time magazine cover talking about crypto concerns. I've yet to read the article or the interview that he talked about, so I'm looking forward to it. I thought this was big news. Coinbase Wallet now supports Solana tokens as well as NFTs to be integrated soon. This, in my opinion, is going to be huge. I'm a big believer in some of the Solana NFTs. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And I think that's going to be a great exposure for Coinbase users as well as the crypto space. There's this article regarding Luna and UST. It's a crypto Twitter thread. I thought it was very informative, gave me a better idea of how the peg mechanism works, how it could or could not function, things that could go right or wrong. Okay. And let me see here. That's really about it. Yeah, like I said, I just want to cover the markets real quick. Let's see how the rest of today pans out and we can go from there. Okay. Hit the thumbs up if you like the content. Until then, take care, good luck, and have a great rest of your weekend. Cheers.